My name is Shannon, and I'm a musician. I was living in Kathmandu, Nepal with my wife Jane, daughter Brianna, and our dogs Mintaka and Mogi. We were one happy family living in a magical city. Then our world changed.
December 2019. News comes from Wuhan, China, about an alarming novel strain of coronavirus. What we now know as COVID-19 starts spreading, and nations worldwide enforce quarantines and lockdowns. While the world enters crisis mode, a group of filmmakers across the globe grabs their cameras to capture the lives and stories around them. Sharing these stories, they realize, even before COVID-19, we had equally virulent diseases dividing us. Perhaps this virus might be a test for humanity, a wake-up call for change. Filmmakers and storytellers from 22 countries unite in a shared goal to tell the story of a time for healing. This is SANATIONE.
The life of the pandemic, we were sort of in a bubble, and we did enjoy our bubble once we calmed down and we learned to live this new life.
But there was no thin masks in Nepal. They were very thick, and it's you could barely breathe in them.
And I've got all these loaves of bread and a baguette, and that will keep us going for a while. My family loves bread. My daughter loves chocolate croissants. This is our life right now. We're just taking a water break. We took our masks off because we're really hot. And why do you have to make the faces? I don't know how people can do it. Long-term hours and first responders. So we gotta put our masks on again. No. It's this guy is one of these, not down.
Yes, down. Everybody copy me. School, I did go sometimes, but it was more on the computer.
I was currently working with a UN organization, and my contract was expiring in July. So I had taken a number of interviews, and one of them was with the OSCE. The Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, which is based in Warsaw, Poland.
As time went on, and we saw how the world was reacting and how flights were being restricted, we were feeling uneasy about how would we get the pets out if we needed to leave.
We basically started looking for flights. At this point, the UN had opened up what's called the humanitarian corridor, which is a flight path so that you could fly in aid or emergency staff to different countries.
We were relieved to leave Nepal only because we didn't know how this disease was going to progress. And we also knew that in Nepal, there was only 11 ICU beds. Okay, well, we had a lot of challenges with trying to find ways to get our dogs out.
Mintaka is a half Australian Shepherd, half Pyrenees, and we got her as a puppy from the prairies of Canada. And Mogi is a Nepali street dog that a dear colleague found in the gutter outside of our UN office in Kathmandu. She rescued the dog hoping to get it adopted, and we were the ones to adopt it. Mintaka is the smallest star on the Orion belt, and we read once in a Wilbur Smith book it meant lone warrior. Mogi is Korean. We lived in Korea for some time. It is the name for Mosquito, and Mogi was so tiny when we got her, so we named her Mogi. Mintaka and Mogi, they're my family.
Our strategy initially was to get the dogs out before the lockdown happened. I was flying with the dogs to go to Bangkok. We knew if the world shut down and I was stranded in Bangkok, I could live there with the dogs temporarily. Jane and Brianna were booked on a plane to go back to Canada. This plan fell through when the lockdown happened and the flights were banned.
We had booked the humanitarian corridor flight from Kathmandu to Kuala Lumpur. They only fly like every second Wednesday. So we had booked it for around the time I needed to leave, which was mid-July.
We asked about our dogs, and they said, yes, we can take both your dogs as well on that flight. We were flying from Kathmandu to Kuala Lumpur to Doha, and then Doha to Warsaw. In Kuala Lumpur, the dogs would have to disembark from the plane because the flight involved a layover. They actually would have to leave the airport, stay at a dog stay, and then come back into the airport the next day and then fly out with us. The dogs leaving would need a health test, and they would have to get all the paperwork in order to get back on the plane. So that was impossible. The second option was for them to stay at the airport, but the risk was that they were understaffed. We also read online that if they're not able to take care of dogs in an airport, that they would be put to death. This is just unimaginable. Any one thing could go wrong.
So I had access to this flight, but because I had left the UN, I don't have access to come back in, and neither did my husband.
And then we tried to get out on charter flights. A company that was arranging these charter flights, they did not have a good communication system. So when you tried to call them or when you tried to email them about availability of the flights, they had very poor communication. One of the biggest challenges we had was trying to get the papers for the dogs to fly. They need health certificates. They need shots. They need the official government vet to sign off on papers for the export certificate. So these doctors, well, they weren't going into the office because the offices were closed. You have to have the paperwork in order to get on a flight. It was difficult to coordinate purchasing a flight on the charter and to arrange the vet to get the paperwork for these flights. And Canada was sending planes to Delhi, India. We also contacted the Canadian Embassy in Delhi and said, can we get on that flight? They said yes, but they didn't take dogs.
And unfortunately, after many calls, there was no way for us to ship the dogs on this flight. So the reality was very clear that the dogs were going to have to stay in Nepal. I think at this point I was a bit in denial, thinking it was just going to be really short term and all this would kind of blow over. We had found a woman who was willing to take our dog because everyone else that we knew was already taking care of dogs. And this is when I started to realize that during COVID, there was a lot of stranded animals around the world. And I didn't realize we weren't the only ones. And this woman had 2 other dogs, and she said she would agree to helping us. But by the time it came for us to need her help, she had already taken in other dogs. So the only other chance was to put them in like a kind of a kennel.
So we knew the people this dog stay. They stayed there before.
We knew they were reasonably good. There was like an outdoor space for the dogs to run around.
They also had on-site vet. So Mintaka was an aging dog. So we were comforted with the fact that they had a vet that could take care of any health issues.
But I just think there's this vulnerability you feel when you leave your pets with people that are technically strangers. In other countries, they don't treat dogs like family. You know, they don't sleep in your house. They are outdoor animals and this sort of thing. And our dogs were very much like sleep on the bed kind of dogs. So they were our family. But I had to compartmentalize the fear and just trust that it was all going to work out.
We were scared. We didn't know when we would be able to get them. We didn't know when the flights would open up again. We went on this belief that eventually things would open up. I would be able to come back, get the dogs, get them on a flight, and take them to Warsaw.
Yeah, today is packing day. We're getting the shippers to come and they're loading up our stuff right now, and we're going to relocate during the COVID pandemic. It just sounds crazy, but yeah, we have to do it. And because my wife got a job in Poland, I'm truly gonna miss it here. I'm gonna miss looking at this skyline of all the rooftops. This is the coolest city, Kathmandu. Oh no, my dog's barking again. And you can see the mountains. Not today, but hey, Mintaka. Hey, shush. We're dealing with this step by step. We're kind of sad because we wanted to take them with us on the plane, but there's no commercial flights available during the lockdown. We're lucky to get out, so we're gonna leave him here at a dog stay for about 3 weeks, and then hopefully I will be able to fly back and get the dogs, travel with them. Hopefully the commercial flights will open up August 1st. And some last minute love.
From that point forward, it became a true nightmare. Everything we tried to get the dogs out for the next 4.5 months failed. There were people that were still going into Nepal on these kind of climbing permits.
And they were opening up to mountaineers. So I was going to pose as a mountaineer to get back into Nepal.
So we actually researched how Shannon could pretend he was joining one of these climbing expeditions so that he could go in and leave the group and just rescue the dogs.
I wasn't training for Everest, but I was maybe gonna do mountains outside of Pokhara. But the problem was that there was no solid information, and it was rumors in the newspapers. I was calling Nepal embassy in Germany every day and asking, are they issuing tourist visas? She would say, I don't know.
When the dogs were in Nepal, the information that we were getting about them was slim to none. And this was something that was becoming a growing concern for me. I was losing trust, and I was even having nightmare scenarios like they sold the dogs or they killed the dogs and they're just getting money. The odd time I would almost ask for pictures inside, I was thinking of it as proof of life. Brianna was so young, I knew wasn't going to really remember this too much. I felt that she would just pick up on our emotions, and it was at the point that Shannon and I couldn't talk to each other about it very much. It wasn't a healthy situation for us to talk because we were both so emotionally distraught, and we were concerned that the elder dog would die. Actually, at some point I think I thought they both were going to die. We couldn't let that in, and I was concerned that if I let too much of that out around Brianna, she would take that on board as her pain. But I don't think she really knew what was happening. She just knew we had dogs and now we don't have dogs.
The last option happened when Jane noticed a Facebook post of this girl.
And I had been following this woman in Kathmandu who does amazing work, and she rescues animals and ships them often to Canada, actually.
She posted that she successfully got 2 dogs out of Kathmandu and on a plane to Montreal on air cargo. This was the first glimmer of hope. We had it in 4.5 months of actually a possibility of getting our dogs out. Well, we'll try to get them flown to Warsaw.
She actually put us in touch with her shipper, and I contacted him immediately. From that point forward, the ball was in motion.
So I contacted the official government vet of Warsaw, and he said the dogs have to be accompanied by the owner. So the dogs could not come by air cargo to Warsaw. We made a plan for our dogs to be shipped to Montreal, and I went to fly there.
We hugged each other and I said, bring them home.
It's November 11th and I am sleep deprived. I got 3 hours sleep last night. I'm off on a quest to get the dogs. I'm right here in Warsaw, Poland. I'm gonna be flying to Montreal, and we haven't seen our dogs for, it'll be almost 4 months now. Just hopefully we don't have any issues with them flying out of Nepal. I'm gonna go quarantine in Canada for 14 days before I receive them, and fingers crossed, and I'm gonna be praying like crazy that this all goes to plan. Hey, so I'm in Frankfurt, Germany, and just doing a transfer to go to Montreal. I just can't believe how empty these airports are. Normally this would be packed with people, and I just feel like I'm traveling alone. It's crazy. It's such a strange time because it's like the best time to travel and the worst time to travel. The flight from Frankfurt to Montreal, it was, I think there was more Air Canada staff on that flight than actual passengers. It was crazy.
The full irony is we flew the dogs all the way to Canada, and then Shannon went to go get them in Canada.
And I had to orchestrate them, making sure they got on the plane. I had to do the wire transfers. I had to make sure that all the documents were done. I had to coordinate with our neighbors in Nepal because they had all of our dog paperwork and they had our kennels.
Yeah, we're on the eve of our dogs getting on a flight from Kathmandu, and then they fly to Doha. They have a 24-hour layover there, and then they fly to Montreal. This is where I am, Montreal, to receive them. I had to quarantining for 12 days already. You're not allowed to leave your place at all. So everything is done through ordering groceries online. I feel for my wife that's working full time and managing our daughter's homeschooling, which is all online. We've done a lot of crying in the last 5 months because we have been separated from our dogs. Thankfully, our daughter has been handling it well. My wife and I have not handled it well. We were more worried about our older dog, which is, she's 12 years old. We had these nightmares. We were worried that she's going to pass away while we were not with her, and that's just something unimaginable.
I'll never forget the gentleman who helped us with the shipping.
The cargo agent took video and sent it to me.
It just felt like somebody was on our side.
It was such a relief to see our dogs in the crates.
These signs that Brianna had made for them on the top of their kennels.
Such a massive relief because I was like, they're getting out, they're getting out.
But then it was like, are they going to get stuck in the layover, or is the plane going to crash?
It was super emotional. I had a hard time. And yeah, it was just all this stress coming out. And they arrived at Doha, and the people at the airport were amazing. They showed pictures of our two dogs in the dog stay area. And I'm like, oh, they are okay. They're going to be okay because I saw pictures of them.
When they were flying to Canada, they literally flew over Poland because I was tracking the flight.
And my dogs are finally coming today. And I can't believe I'm going to see them. I think this is just shocking. It is a 14-hour flight. Of course, I still worry about Mintaka. But I'm going to feel such a sense of relief when I pick up the dogs and I have them in the car. That will feel so amazing. So cold in Montreal. Like, welcome back to Canada. I'm freezing my ass off. So I got the paperwork from the Swissport cargo office. And now I have to go to customs, which is 10 minutes away. and get the paper stamped and then come back here, and then the dogs will come out. But I think they'll be in the cages. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm so happy. Mogi, Mintaka, 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 Mogi. Hello, Mogi. Oh my God, hello, hello, hello. Hi, Mogi. Hi, Mintaka. Hi, Mintaka. I'm gonna get you out. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you out. Yeah. Hi, Mogi. Hi, Mogi. Oh yeah, I know. Hi, Mintaka. Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna get you out.
I just will never forget when Shannon messaged me, I have.
Hello, gorgeous. Hi there. How are you? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, gorgeous. Hello. Hello, Mogi. Hi. Hi there. Hello. Oh. Oh, I missed you. Hi. Oh, yes, I know. It's so good to see you.
Just happy.
Well, I'm at the Frankfurt airport in Germany, and this is last flight before I go home with the dogs, and I'm so tired. Looks like we have Mogi's cage. Oh, there's Mintaka. They're going onto the plane. Awesome.
So I can barely concentrate. They just landed, and yeah, I can't even believe it's happening. I think I'm in shock. I'm so happy. Of course, as soon as I start talking, I cry. It's been so hard, like so hard. On see? I'm taking a video. Did you hear that? Are you crying? I'm just making a video about Mogi and Mintaka.
Why?
Why not? Because I'm excited.
I don't think so.
I'm
Crying sometimes makes you sad.
crying also means happy.
Does it? No.
Yes,
no,
yes.
No. Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.
This is Mogi and Mintaka's first night in our backyard.
The funniest thing is they like, you know, gave me a quick kiss, but they were so excited. They were dogs, right? They just ran right into the house and just started sniffing.
The big bones. Oh, a little chirp for you. Yeah, they're stinky.
Mintaka was 15 years old, so it'd be like 90 something in person. Started struggling of standing up when she was laying down. She wasn't eating that much and she was losing fat and we could see her ribs. Then we had to put her down. Almost been with Mintaka their whole life and they really love her. It was their first child.
Mintaka has passed away. Doesn't matter, she's still my family.
Whoa, we are together. Wanna look on you. Makes me on you makes me feel so